Hey there guys, it's Albro1 here with a lesson for Beyond game developers on a chapter from the DM guide. Today I'm going to be going over chapter 1 called Meet the Dream Maker. Before you go any farther in this tutorial, you need to go to the website BYOND.com and download the software found right here. Once you're done doing that, you should have a little pager that comes up, looks like this. And as for the guide, which I'm going to be covering most of the first chapter in this video, you're going to want to go under Developers and go to Guide. I summarized some of the things, left some things out, and some things I just took exactly from there. But a lot of people don't like reading it, so I'm making a little video series on it. So as I was saying, we're going to jump right into it. When you download the software, you're given 4 key programs. That is the Pager, which is this. Dream Seeker, which is what you run every game with, Dream Daemon, which is the hosting software, and Dream Maker, which is what we're going to be talking about. To open it, you need to go to your pager, go under File, click Start Dream Maker. You can also just search for the dreammaker.exe right there. And that'll give you the same thing. Now once you have that open, go to File right here and click New Environment. For the purposes of this, we're going to just call it Hello World and save it wherever you want right here. I'm just going to have it saved to my desktop, and then you're just going to click OK, and this is going to pop up. It's a default file. You can go ahead and erase everything in there because I'm not even going to go over that yet. Now that you have that done, that's the first step you need to do. So I'm going to start going over some basics. The first thing you should know about this game making software is how it works. Computer programs that operate over a network are often divided into 2 parts, a client and a server. In this case, the client is the program that players use to enter commands and see what happens as a result. In other words, the client handles the input and the output. The server is the program that runs the game, carrying out the rules defined in the DM language. The game designer, that's you, writes these rules in a third program called the compiler. This reads the DM program, known as the source code by programmers, checks it for grammatical errors, and generates a more compact, computer-friendly file known as the bytecode or binary. The binary file is what the server reads to see how to run the game. In most, if not all, programming languages, you are introduced with the same example, named Hello World. This is an example of a Hello World program in DM. So if you would follow my lead on here, you're going to type mob, M-O-B, hit enter, and then hit tab. Then you're going to type login, and then put a left parentheses and a right parentheses, enter, and tab again. And then you're just going to do world, space, and then 2 less than signs. Then put 1 quotation mark. Type hello world, and then end the quotations. Now this is probably a bit confusing right now. You're probably wondering what a mob is and why there's so many weird indentations. For now, simply understand that the player's avatar in the game is a mob. When a player logs in, the server is told to output the message hello world to everybody. Now compile and run this program. To do so, you go to the build menu and click compile. Once you do that, these messages will come up here. This is where it searches for errors and warnings. You got 0 errors, and 0 warnings. So you're going to go back up to build and click run. And look at that. You have a hello world statement that is outputted to you magically in the output screen. Congratulations. You've created your first Beyond world. So go ahead and exit that. Now you know the basic steps for designing worlds. This world didn't have anything for the player to do though, so next we're going to give them something to do. First though, I'm going to feed a bit more information to you. Dream Maker always refers to the collection of Dream Maker always refers to the collection of file comprising the project as the world environment. When you make a new project, you create a single environment file which has the name worldname.dme. In this case, it's hello world.dme right there. This file may contain source code, but in general it'll only contain automatically generated references to other files in the project. If you look inside it, that's all it has in it, and you shouldn't mess with it until you get more comfortable with DM and you know what happens if you mess with that. For now, just understand that if you do something wrong, it'll jack up the project, and you'll probably have to redo it. So now let's get on to some more coding. We already created a hello world code that automatically appears when the player logs in, so let's make something that requires the player to do something. Type this example into your code. So just follow along with me here. You're going to type mob, enter, tab, verb, enter, tab, smile, left and right parentheses, enter, tab, then do world, 2 less than signs, put a quotation mark. Now put a bracket that looks like that, not this one, but this one, and type user, USR, not USER. Then in that bracket, and then grins, and in the quotations. What you need to know here is that in DM, commands are called verbs. This code demonstrates how verbs are defined. Notice the weird indentations again. Don't worry, I'll get to those. For now, just look at this code. We start by defining a property of a mob. In this case, we are adding a verb and action that the player can instruct the mob to perform. The name of the verb is smile. The final line displays a message when the mob smiles. Notice the user, that's USR, not USER, in the message. As you may have guessed, that is not displayed literally, but is replaced by the name of the user, the player who initiates the command. Go ahead and run this example. So build, compile, build, run. Alright, now you can try typing smile down here, or you can click this right here, that shows up as well. I'm going to do it down here because not many people use that, and I guess it's something good to know. You just type smile and hit enter. And as you can see, it says Albro 1 grins. Awesome. You can try a few verbs on your own for variety. So if you'll give me just a moment and follow along, I'll make some other ones. Let's do frown, world, 2 left parentheses, do the user, frowns. Now let's do one more. So you're just going to hit enter and then backspace. And then I hit enter again because I like to keep my code separated. Let's do cry. Enter tab, world, 2 left parentheses, quotations, and for this one let's do backslash his, that wouldn't have made any sense if I would have typed that. So just do user user cries backslash his eyes out. Alright. Now the stair-step indentation has been broken. All 3 verbs are at the same level of indentation. In DM, indentation serves to group things together. Here the verbs are grouped together as verbs belonging to mob. Each of these verbs has its own contents indented beneath it. Also, note the use of backslash his in the cry verb. This macro is replaced by the appropriate possessive pronoun. It could be his, her, its, or their, depending on the gender. DM provides a few other macros to make life easy. I'm sorry, my script just jumped to the top of the page and I don't know why. Okay, so far nothing has been said about the empty parentheses after the verb names in the above examples. They were in the first example after login too. These are the mark of a procedure definition. The verbs and login are all examples of procedures, which are a sequence of instructions to be carried out. In the examples so far, each procedure consisted of just one line, an instruction to display some text. They can, of course, become much more complicated than that. There are two general categories of procedures, those that show up as player commands and those that do not. These are called verbs and procs, respectively. By that definition, login in the Hello World example was a proc. The parentheses after a procedure name are more than decorative. They can be used to define procedure parameters. These allow you to provide extra information to the procedure. This information is stored in a variable, which is a piece of memory with a name. To confuse matters more, a programmer will often call such variables that serve as parameters to procedures arguments. Why? Well, just for the sake of argument. Here's an example of a verb that takes a parameter, in this case a short message to be broadcast to the world. These few short lines are the bare bones of a chat world. Users can log in and start talking using the say verb. So try this out. So just do enter and then backspace. Let's do say txt, well, left parentheses txt as text, right parentheses, enter tab, world, two less than signs, quotation, bracket user, says, bracket txt in bracket, and then in the quotations. So try this out. If you compile and run, now you have this new verb right here, and actually you can, I didn't try these out, but it frowns, Albro 1 cries his eyes out. Now for say, a box pops up where you can enter in whatever you want to say. I'm just going to say hi. Actually, I'm going to say hello world. Albro 1 says hello world. Awesome. The main point of interest in this code is inside the parentheses where the parameter message or text txt is defined. It could have been called anything. The variable name is arbitrary. The as text statement indicates that a short message supplied by the user will be stored in the variable. This message is then inserted into the final output at the position marked by the expression bracket txt. So far you have been casually introduced to mobs, verbs, procs, and arguments. Now it's time for some more explanations on DM related things. You can think of DM code to be structured like an upside down tree. The top of the tree is called the root, and the various types of virtual objects, mobs being one, branch off of the root and may in turn give rise to additional strains that branch down from them. So you can really think of them all as, if that confuses you, you can think of them as a family. Whereas mob is the parent, verb is a child of mob, smile is a child of verb, and frown, cry, and say are all smile's siblings. And each of these siblings distinguishes itself by having its own set of things to do inside of it. Not really its own children, but this is more of the things that make that child work. Alright, so I hope that explains it a little better, because some people just don't understand the concept of the indentation. It's really simple once you understand it. That's all I'm going to do for this video. I was going to try to cover the entire first chapter, but by the time I got to this point, I was only like right at the halfway point of the chapter, and I figured this video was going to go on pretty long because my script was extremely long by that point. So I'm going to save the other half of the chapter for the next video. I know that chapter starts off with introducing something called turfs. So I don't know when exactly I'll have that uploaded, but make sure to keep an eye out for it. I hope to keep these going. Hopefully I'll get some good feedback on these. I know I messed up a few times. I don't usually do tutorial videos though. Hopefully I can get a little better and give you guys some better content. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I hope you go on and try to become the best programmer that you can be. Have a nice night.